Hi guys, this is the third part of this entire big video that I'm probably gonna split into three parts. And this is the JavaScript part of it. Um, Now in this one, I kind of wanted to show you the DOM model a little bit, document object model, and I also wanted to show you basically different JavaScript things that you can do. So first, let's create a file, and we can just call this JavaScript. We can put this outside here, so we can do index.js. And in order to link this, we would need, we can close styles now, but in order to link this, we will want to do, so first we would just want to just put a script tag. We can put this in the body or the head. Usually for JavaScript, if you was creating different objects for object-oriented programming, you create classes in the head part of the HTML file, but I'm just going to put the script tag in the body. Always put script tags at the bottom of everything else. You can put a source or you can put the actual JavaScript code right in here. It'll work the same way. For me though, I'm gonna put a source. I'm gonna do source, and then what you put in there is basically the link to it. So we can do index.js like that. And so what I want to do is, when this first starts, I want to, and basically you can get things different ways. Like you can use the query selector to grab things by class and add things, or you can basically Alright, so I'm back. So basically we had the script tag here. So we have index.js, which is what I named it. And so basically what I want to do is I want to have this wait for 2 seconds after the animation is done, and then I want to basically change the text of the title. What I can do is, well, you can either set it to a variable if you want to, so we can do const header, or we can call it title. Usually you want to set these to variables. Const title is equal to document dot get element by ID, because remember we gave that ID and we called it header title. And now we can do different things. Now, in order to overwrite or overrule the styles inside of the style sheet, we can just put a style tag on it and put whatever we want there, and it'll overrule any style sheet. So if you want specific styles, but there's a function actually, and that function is called set time. Sorry about that. Set timeout, and then you can pass in a function that you want to pass in there without the parentheses, and then a number of milliseconds that you want before the function happens, and it'll basically set a timeout and it'll do it after that time. Set interval basically is similar to that, but set interval basically set it every 2 seconds. And so we'll do set timeout first just to show you that. And I want to create a function here. I'm going to use ES6 syntax, so we'll do const set header is equal to empty parentheses because there's no parameters. And this is called a function. The same thing would be if you did function set header like that, and then you did this. That's the same thing. And when you compile this using npm or something like that, which I think all browsers support ES6 by now, but if you want to compile it down to ES5, you can use things like Babel, which is basically something you use with Webpack or Babel loader, and it basically compiles it down for you. That stuff basically we're using Node Package Manager, npm. And so basically for this here, we just want to put everything that we did and put it inside of that function. And you always want to define the functions above wherever you're using them at. So you want to define the function here, and above wherever you're using it at. And then we can do set attribute, which basically sets remember one of those attributes here, because we don't have a style attribute here yet on this. So we want to set the attribute called style. And just like we did it inside of the attribute on the HTML markup here, we could just simply just do, I'll do color for the text, and I'll set it to yellow, like that. And so now this will wait 2 seconds, and then it'll set the text to yellow. So we can see this in action here if we just click open browser. And you can see it set it to yellow right after it was done. Now, for instance, what if we want this to constantly change? Like what if we want this to constantly change, but we don't want to, we basically want to wait 2 seconds as well. Well, what we'd have to do is we can leave this set headers alone, but instead of setting it here, what we would have to do is call set interval, which takes a time as well, but it also takes a function. And I'm gonna just call this change the header, and then it changes it. We'll do every second. And so what I want to do is I'm gonna change it from yellow to white, back and forth. And so what I want to do for that is I want to create another const and define it above that function. And it'll be const change header is equal empty parentheses like that. And so this will be called each time. And so what we want to do is this will basically check the attribute style and it'll change it to the other one. So what we want to now do is we want to grab this and move it in here. So we can bring this up here like that. And what we want to do is, so we can put functions inside of functions just like I'm showing you here. And we can do, and I'm going to show you the basic JavaScript syntax in a second, but I just want to show you the DOM manipulation and just how you would like go about doing that. And so let's see here. We want to do, so we want to grab it first, and then we want to basically check what it is. So there's no actual style tags here already. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to do title.set attribute up here. And I'm going to do a style tag. And I'm just going to by default set it to a color, and I'm going to set like white like that, semicolon there. And then so that's going to set it before it calls it. So now when we grab it, we can just do title.style.color. And then what we want to do is something called an if else. So it's like an if else. So it's like a clause. So it's like if something, then do something else, do something else. So I want to do if title.style, which is what that attribute is, .color is equal, and usually you can do double or triple. Double is for if you don't care about the type being equal, like string, number. But basically, triple is when you want the type to be the same as well. And so we're going to do yellow. And then if it's yellow, we want to basically do title.style.color. We want to set it equal, a single equal, because we're assigning. We're not checking if something is equal. We're assigning something to something. So then we'll just set it to white. Else, meaning that it's probably white already. So then we'll do title.style.color. And this time we want to set it to yellow. And so now this will basically run this change header function every second, because once it's ran once, and you'll see here in a second when we do it. So if we just open this up, let's see what happened here. Let's go to our inspect and go to console. So instead of elements, we can go to console. Title is not defined at set header. So if we go there, we can go. So title is not defined at set header. Oh yeah, it's not. Because we want to actually take this and we want to put that up here. So let me close this and let me actually run that again. And you can see it goes from white to yellow. See? So now like you can do it like that. You can also make that an animation that goes from white to yellow by setting the animation loop to infinity. or animation duration, I think, to infinity or something like that. You can have it go reverse. So like the field mode reverse and it goes back and forth. I think you can do that as well. So you can make that an animation, but I was just showing you how to manipulate that with JavaScript. You can see, you can highlight over it and everything. Like you can do anything you do with normal stuff. It's just that it's steadily changing there. So now that we've done that, I'm going to, let me see how I want to do this. So I'm going to create a blank page. I'm going to just call this test.js, and it's not going to be associated with anything here, but it's just going to be a file called test.js. And here I just want to go over some things. So basically, and you can always look back at the DOM manipulation stuff after you look at the basics here. I could have did a different order. I just basically I just was freestyling this a little bit. So I'll do. So I want to start with variables and what those are. So basically, you define a variable with something called var. So we can do like var. And I used to watch the new Boston videos when I was first learning to program. Um, and so basically, he would always use tuna a lot. Like it was somebody named Bucky. He would always use like tuna a lot. So I'm gonna use that here. And basically, so var tuna, we can just set this to whatever we want. So the actual word tuna, and I can put that in single or double quotes. It doesn't matter. And so you can see that here. And so basically, control backtick allows you to open up your terminal to where you can like do stuff, and you can like run programs and stuff. Um, so basically, I want to do console log like that, but I want to log tuna. So I'm a log an actual variable tuna that we just assigned. And so if I click run code here, you can see here tuna, and it exited with no problems. And it gives you the seconds. So that's how you define it. I know in Java you would have to put like something like string in front of it and everything. With JavaScript you don't do that. With ES6 though, you can use const and let. Now let basically allows you to use the name tuna as a variable name in other scopes throughout your project. So for instance, um, I'll show you like that in a second. First, let me show you a few other things. So we can concatenate stuff. So I want to say tuna fish like that, and I want to run it tuna fish. So you can see I concatenated a space plus tuna fish. If I don't want to do a space there, I can do an underscore and run it. By just doing it like this, tuna fish. I can get rid of it completely and just run it tuna fish. So you can do all types of different things with that. Now you have to have quotations here. If I try to do this tuna fish like that and I run it, it's going to give me an error because it doesn't know tuna fish is not defined. Something that you would see a lot of the times people do is they use strict. Basically, it will use strict like that. Basically, it would just basically make your code more strict. I'm not going to be using that here. I'm not. So it'll be use strict, but yeah, I actually put that wrong. But it'll be on the outside there, and then basically just you can use strict like that to make your code more strict. I'm not going to be doing that for this though. Also here you can do control, or this is output here actually. Let me see. You can clear the output here with the terminal just doing that. And so what I want to do now is I want to set this to a number. So you can set this to any number. I can set it to 23 like that. And if I run it, you can see here we get 23. So you can do many different things. We can also do an array, which is basically a list. You can do numbers, so 24, 25. And then if I run it, you see we get the list there. I can also loop through an array. So I can do a for loop. I can do let, which is the scope variable, I equal to 0. I less than tuna.length, which is the length of that tuna array, or like the number, so the length is 3. And then I plus plus, meaning that each time you want this I to go up 1. And then we got to get rid of that here. And what I want to do is I want to, for each basically thing inside of tuna, I want. So basically, if you want to like print each one of these out, we can actually just do let string equal to tuna I, like that. And then we can just console log that string each time, like that. And then if we run that, you can see instead of giving us a list, it console logs each one. And this is let string. Now, for instance, I can even call this. So you can see how we have const tuna and stuff like that there. We set it equal to that. Now, if I try to use tuna again here, I can do tuna is equal to 23, like that. And then, like that. And then basically we can just say let string equal to tuna. And you can see if we run this, you see it basically prints 23, 24, and 25. So basically I said let string equal to tuna and then print each one. And so you can see it still did the same thing. Now what if I said let tuna is equal to 23? So now if I run this, it prints 23, 23, 23. And you can see the scope change. So when I said tuna is equal to 23, it still print 23, 24, 25, right? And so now if I did let tuna is equal to 23, now it's like, oh wait, you don't want to print these ones. You define tuna in another scope here. That's called a scope. And now we use the same name, which you don't want to do usually, but we use the same name and then now I print it out each time. So that's like let and how to use that as well, which I figured I put in there. Now this for loop, that's what you would usually use, or at least in the past, but you can also do something like tuna.for each, which is the exact same thing. And then you could do like, and you can name this whatever you want, and then we can do a callback. So usually you would also do something like for each function, and then number, and then you would do like this. And what you would do is for each one, close that. You can console.log number. So if we do that and we run it, you can see we get the same thing. Now that's even like is the even better way to do it now. Instead of just doing it like this, and all I have to simply do is number, unless you have more than one parameter that you want to pass into the parameters, then you would do it in parentheses. And then you can do a fat arrow like that, and then you can console log. So it just looks neater and cleaner. And you'll get the same thing. So we just do run it, same thing. And then even neater, because we're only doing one line of code, we don't even need like curly braces if we want to put other lines of code below this. We can simply just do number like this, and then we can just console log number. So now we got a one-liner like that. And if we first, let me clear this, and then if we run it, same thing. So that just shows you basically like the latest JavaScript like syntax, or like basically later JavaScript syntax, and then what it used to be and what it now is. You can do any of those methods, but usually you'll see this a lot more because it's a lot neater and cleaner in terms of doing stuff. Now for this list, we can do strings as well. I can do like, for instance, tuna. I could do like pizza. And it's like, you see how I got a number there? So let me run this. You can see tuna, 24, and pizza. So you can you see it's almost like a tuple in Python where you have multiple different types. So now I'm gonna do let me just log through these really quickly. Run code, tuna steak pizza. So now I can change these, and I want to do something really quickly for objects. And so what I want to do is, let me clear this out. There's something called objects. And an object basically is something where you can put different members in there and do different things. So I can put that on separate lines like that for you. And then for each one, you want to assign the actual field name and then a type. Now with JSON, you would put everything in double quotes. But for this, we're going to just do the single quotes. We can do, like, for instance, name. Then I can do a string as well, Jamar. And then I can also put comma, and I can do age. And then I can do like 20. It could be a number. So you can do different fields for this. You can even put like for instance, if you want to do something like birthday, and you want to separate it into like the day, month, and year, you can do. Well, let me put these on separate lines here. So let me just do it like this, just so it makes more sense here. And you want to separate via the comma, so we can do like this. And then I want to do another one, so I'll put it there like this. And inside here for birthday, you can do like a birthday. So you can do like day. And you can like nest all of these like this. And you can like set a day. So you can just put like something, and then you can do like a month. You can put something there, so on and so forth. And you can nest everything, which is pretty cool. Obviously, if that's the last one in the object, you want to just take the comma off like that. We can do as many of these as we want. So I'm going to just do like a couple more. So we can do like name. We can do like John. And then we can do age. What did I use earlier? I think I used like 25. And then we can do another one, and we can do we'll do Jane. And then I'll do age. Oh no, we'll do 23. So basically, like, you can loop through these as well. And so for instead of number, you can change this to whatever you want. I can just do like profile or something like that, and console log profile. And so when we loop through this here, if I just and then run it, you can see we get each object: name, age, name, age, name, age. And what I can do now is I can also console log a field that I want to console log. So for like, I know with JSON you would do associative array syntax. So you do like, you put the field name like that, and then the actual list, so it'll be like that, and then you will log it. But for objects in JavaScript, or at least this way that I'm doing it, you're gonna use dot. It's similar to if you're messing around with like C, the C language. Basically, it's like a structure. So like you use dot to access a member, or you use a pointer, but you can also use a dot. And so basically it'll be dot and then like whatever you named it, so name. So now if we run this here, I'll leave that there just to show you. Run it, you can see we get the names, and then we can do the age as well. We want to make sure we save it first. And then you can see we get the age. So I mean, that's how you would do stuff with objects. Now, with these objects, I also want to show you a few other things. There's other high order array functions like reduce and everything as well. Like you can reduce in like the number you want to start it off with. For that though, I want to make another list. I'll just do new array like that. And I'll just set it to an array of numbers. So 23, 24, 25. Not a dot. That should be a comma. And basically, I can do a new array dot reduce, and I want to reduce each number. Actually, I forgot. It's the accumulator plus the current value. So actually, sum should be here. And then number should be like the current value that we're actually passing in there. So we want that in parentheses. and sum will be plus equal to the number. And we want to actually set this to something because we want to return it. So new number is equal to that. And then what I want to actually do is get rid of this here. I haven't used reduce really. And so I want to do new number like that when it's all done. The initial value is 0, which is why I started there. And then if we actually run this here. Oh, wait. We're getting undefined. Oh, wait, we got to return it as well. We got to return it like that. Let me run this again. So you get 72. So we just added all three of these numbers together, and then we get 72. The reason why we have to return it is because we're setting this as like the first parameter, that's the second, but this is the callback function. So that's not actually doesn't have anything to do with the parameter, but we're setting this as the callback function. We're using curly braces, so it's expecting us to do more lines of code before we return something. If I simply wanted to do something like this, where I can get rid of I can just do that. Just put that. Oh wait, because we gotta get rid of return. There we go. So basically what we do is now, because we don't have the curly braces, it's assuming that we want to return this. So if we run this again, you can see we get 72 again. So that's why that's the difference between that. You also have filter, which I mean we can filter things, so we can do like something like new array like that, and then we can just do filter, and then we can do number, so we don't need this anymore. I'm just showing you some of the high order array functions, and we can do it where num is not equal, so we can do like that if we don't want to care, if we don't care about type, or we can do a double, and then we can do 24. So this should return 23 and like 25 or something like that. So we can just do. You can see. Oh wait, I didn't change this. This should be new array now. Sorry about that. Let's run this again. You can see 23, 25. So we filtered it where the number is not equal to 24. So we return everything except the number that's not equal to 24. We could change this again and do number equal to 24. And then we'll return only 1. And that'll be 24. Because now we're only filtering where we're returning 1 that's equal to 24. And then you have to use the return keyword if you're putting this in like curly braces as well. But now after I showed you that, I want to show you this map function really quick. So this is, here it is. And I want to do, I want to set it to a new array. And I want to do tuna.map. Now this function is going to take each object, so it'll be a profile. And what I want to do is turn an expression. So an expression simply is just a value. So what I want to do is I want to take the entire profile using the spread operator, which is called basically the object spread operator, which copies the entire object. But what I want to do is I want to set I want to set a new field, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna do height. And for each person, or actually I'm gonna not do height. I'm gonna do favorite. Hold on, I'm gonna do favorite food like that. And so for favorite food, I want to set each one to, let's just say, pizza, because that's like one of my favorite foods. So now if I do this and I run it, let's clear the console here, because first I need to do that. Once we do that, now we can like console log it, which I forgot to do here. All right, and so now what I want to do is run it. You can see now person to 20. I can do that as well. So if I save that and I load the final array, that you can see here. I'm gonna just and I'm gonna console log the new array as well, just to show you the differences between each one. So let's save that. Let's clear that. And then let's run this again. You can see now we have two lists. We have one where we just had a favorite food of pizza, and then we have one where we changed the age to 20. So you can do that as well. And also, well, actually, no, that'll overwrite the entire object, because you can return just a word. For instance, if you don't want to return like, or you change the age, you can simply just do, you can return, like, for instance, profile.age is equal to 20. But I think when I did this, it overwrites the entire object. So we can run that. And see, it overwrites the entire object. So that's why you want to use the expression and copy the object as it is and then change whatever field you want or create a new field. Because if you don't, you can see you'll overwrite the entire object. And instead of getting back the name, we lost that name and the favorite food. And instead, we only got back an age of 20 and we lost the age field as well. It just returns a list of numbers of 20. Because it maps and creates a new array, so it doesn't know that you want to copy that array object. So that's why you have to make sure you bring it in like that as well. We can also do const find array is equal to new array, and we can do that simply by setting it equal. Then we can like run that as well, just to show you we can set arrays equal to each other. You can see here, oh wait, I didn't save it. Let me do that again. All right, let me run it again. You can see here we got the same array, so we just set it equal. We can also do, we can add something to it, so we can do like this. We can copy the whole array just like our object. We can only do this with arrays and objects to my knowledge. And then obviously you can add something else, so we can add another object of name, and then we can do, I guess we can do like time or something, and then we can do age, and that'll be, and actually these should be in quotes. So name, time, and then we can do age, and then it'll be, actually these don't have to be in quotes, never mind. Those don't have to be in quotes. So we can actually do the field without quotes. It'll by default be a string when it's inside of object literal, I think. We can do age like uh 23 as well, I guess. And then we can do favorite food, and then we can do let's see, pasta. So we can do that, and then if we print it, run it, you can see we have another one now. Time, age 23, favorite food, pasta. So we don't even have to like put these in single quotes actually. This is more like JSON where you want to put everything in double quotes, including numbers.